All right, we're back on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Our man Leroy Hoard. Before we get to the burning question of should they keep or trade Kareem Hunt, what does your shirt say, Kareem? Adam saw it but couldn't read it.
What does that say? I'd agree. With you.
It says I'd agree with you, but then we both be wrong.
I need that shirt. Where do I get that shirt?
That is a great shirt.
Where do I get that?
I don't remember where I got it.
I need that shirt. That's my whole life.
That
motto.
is your whole life. That
Oh
is,
my
and it's
God.
a good shirt.
I can't remember what I ate yesterday, and this dude is asking me, where did I get this shirt?
I need to know.
Hey, we missed you. I wanted to first tell you that your first appearance here was a huge success. Cleveland fans still love you to death, which I never had any doubt of. So it's great to see you again. But what do you think about this Kareem Hunt talk? Is he expendable? Is he a guy that you have to keep? Where do you fall on this?
I think this. I don't care who you have playing quarterback. I don't care who you have at wide receiver. This team is built on running the football. And if you can't do that, this team will not be successful in December. Period. End of story. Now, all the weapons just make that portion of this team that much more important. So it makes Deshaun Watson's play action unbelievable. It makes the route running of the receivers, and Amari Cooper is an excellent route runner. Not just good, excellent route runner who will create separation. Okay? It gives all those guys one additional step to operate if you can run the football. The success of this team in the last couple of years has been because you had that two-headed monster running the football, and when Chubb was out, you didn't miss a beat. So I would always caution anyone to move away from that, because I don't care what position, you're not going to be able to bring in something that's going to make that much of an impact as Kareem Hunt does on the team, even if it's at another position.
So you're firmly in keep 'em.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes
Yes.
sense.
I agree with that. I agree with a lot of what you just said, Leroy. And then I started thinking about, like, the Rams won it all and their running back was hurt. I think about Kansas City has not had a running game. The Bills have not had a running game. Do you don't think that an explosive wide receiver is more important than a running back in today's football?
Well, I mean, yeah, I just heard you guys talking about not using the tight end. but I'm going to tell you like this. If you don't want to ever use your tight end, don't have a running game. Because you can say what you want about Kansas City. Dude is a wide receiver. Just a fat one. He ain't a tight end. See what I'm saying?
His numbers certainly look like a wide receiver.
Right. Like, so yeah, he's a tight end. He's going to go to the Pro Bowl as a tight end, and he's going to have all his catches as a tight end, but he always in the slot or running routes, giving the appearance that he's a tight end. They ain't in there. They ain't guarding him to see what his blocking scheme is. They drop him back to cover him. So you just gave a bunch of money to Njoku, who is also a thick wide receiver. Okay, let's not be fooled. Look, it is what it is.
What'd you think of that? What'd you think of that,
did
Leroy?
they give him too much
I don't
money?
understand why they paid him that much.
Because you have to find a way to affect every level of the football field, right? And I think Njoku can do an excellent job of man in the middle of the field. And if you can put pressure on each level of the field, what it does is it makes the defense cover every level of the field. The thing with Jarvis Landry was, if you didn't have a deep threat, it shrunk the football field. It made every throw tighter. So if you have somebody that can stretch the field, it actually opens up all levels of the secondary. And that's why you need a speed guy, you need a guy to control the middle of the field, and you need your guy who you can depend on. And I think that's who Amari Cooper will be, is that a guy who you know he's going to be where he's supposed to be. He's going to run a great route. You can almost close your eyes and throw it to a spot. He's going to be there.
What'd you think of your Leroy? What'd you think? Get back to running back for a minute, because we were part of the conversation with Kareem Hunt was, and you talked about it when Chubb got hurt. Dearness Johnson got his opportunity and he thrived. He played great. What do you think? Like, I mean, he could probably start for some teams. He certainly would be a number 2 on almost any team in the NFL. What did you think of him as a running back yourself? What did you think of him when you saw him get his opportunity last year?
Oh no, he absolutely did the job of coming in and filling the role and taking care of business. If the team feels strongly about him, then you can move on from Kareem Hunt. Okay? But you have to be, when you start making moves and let's be clear, we all don't think that the Cleveland Browns are that far off. Okay? And you can now make moves to be perfect and you end up hurting yourself. So I don't want to make a move with something I know I have to get something I hope I have.
Great point.
Leroy.
And so from that standpoint, although yes, he came in and he balled. Let's be clear. He can run the football. But can you depend on him like you can Kareem Hunt? Because if Chubb gets hurt and you got Kareem Hunt, all systems go. If the Browns feel, and I'll say this from standpoint of, I don't know the day-to-day. We just see him on Sunday.
Sure.
But if the Browns feel comfortable with that, that's kind of how you continue to have success as an organization, is that when guys get to where they're going to start making real money and you have a younger guy, you can let that guy go. But if they're not sure, I wouldn't make the move.
Yeah, and you don't know. It's one thing to do it once. It's another thing to do it week in and week out. Because, Leroy, as you know, when you're playing that position, it's like you're in a car accident every Sunday. How will your body hold up when you're called on to be the guy for 5 weeks in a row, 7 weeks in a row, 10 weeks in a row? And we just don't know that.
I got no interest in getting rid of Hunt right now.
Leroy, I want to drill down on this. You said something earlier really sparked my interest. Tyvis said, the way they throw on the football around nowadays, it's usually the quarterbacks and the receivers. It's about 75% of myself that agrees with that. But there's another 25 that I believe that you can win it a different way. I think that the Cleveland Browns, the way they build up front, the way they got the offensive line and the maulers, I literally think even if they get Deshaun Watson, if they choose to go back to the way they operated under Baker Mayfield with Deshaun Watson in the run game, I think that they would be one of the most dominant teams and a team that can win in a different way by putting the run game first. Do you think a team can win a Super Bowl that way?
In most cases, you most definitely can. Because here's what running the football does. Running the football means you dominate the line of scrimmage. If you do that offensively and defensively, I don't care who you got.
Yeah, you're going to win.
Behind you, you're going to win. And there is nothing that says I am dominating you other than Nick Chubb down your throat. Nothing. You can say whatever you want about the other team, but when Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt got it going, there ain't nothing that's stopping that team offensively. Now, add a different dynamic to it. Now you're going to add a quarterback, a legitimate quarterback, a top 5 quarterback. You're going to add a receiver that is, I would say, just as dependable as Jarvis Landry was. Just in different parts of the field. And you go from that standpoint, but it's always going to start, because guess what? See, everybody thinks running the ball is for September and October when all the grass is green and everybody out there and the women got the bikinis on at the football game and the guys got the little cut off shirts and everybody drinking beer and happy in the sun. The running game ain't for that. Especially in the AFC North. It's for December. It's for January when you got to go and it's 15 to 20 degrees, when it's snowing, when the field is wet and muddy. You got to have something you can hang your hat on. You have
Leroy, isn't the saying the running game travels?
Yep. Look.
Take it wherever you go.
Defense and running game could play on the moon.
Yeah, but
Right? That passing game might not be able to operate.
If it's
Talk about
windy,
it.
wait a second.
if it's
Talk
wet,
about it.
Wait a second. I love Leroy and I love the running game. Nick Chubb's my favorite player.
He was preaching.
But let's not get crazy here.
He was preaching
They
it, though.
paid
Hold on.
Deshaun Watson $260 million.
Guess
They're
guess
throwing
what?
the ball.
Guess what?
Yeah.
can
Guess
run, though.
what?
Yeah.
See, here's where you're off on that.
Okay, tell me.
You think that I'm saying run the ball instead of throwing the ball.
Right.
I'm saying run the ball first to make the passing game more effective.
Yeah,
all right.
so
And
you
you
can
get the
pass
most
the ball.
out of the receivers and the quarterback.
But-
If you just drop back and throw the ball, he's gonna get sacked a lot. Those defensive linemen that don't have to worry about the run game and they can just pin their ears back and rush the passer, we've seen that show. It's terrible.
we have.
It's a great clarification. I'm glad Leroy clarified that because that makes a lot of sense.
Well, it's to
If-
establish the run.
I'm
You heard
saying,
that bull a
I'm
million
not saying
times.
not to throw the ball.
Of course.
Yeah, you have to establish
By the way,
run.
if you go back to last year and see when the Bengals, who got to the Super Bowl, their offense took. Joe Burrow's great. Fantastic player. But if you really followed them carefully, when their offense started to really click and take off, it's when they led
running
the
game.
way with Mixon and he opened things up for the passing game.
Sure.
That's when their offense clicked. The Browns have that, and but what the Browns have had the last couple of years is an elite running game and a mediocre quarterback. Now they got an elite running game and an elite quarterback, making them even more deadly. And to your point, Leroy, I get what you're saying. And now in the fourth quarter, they can be dangerous with Nick Chubb, who's the best fourth quarter running back in the league, and dangerous with Watson, who is not only a great passer, but also a great runner of the football, making them even more dangerous.
Here's what
Derrick
happens.
Henry's pretty good in the fourth quarter too.
Yeah.
But Nick Chubb's numbers in the fourth quarter are the best.
I don't know. I'd have to look side by side. Henry punishes people in the fourth quarter.
Because
Stats department's on it.
it's because
Stats are
Get
on
on it. Get on it.
Let me know.
that's a big body to tackle in the fourth
Here's
quarter.
what happens, though. Here's what happens. Coaches, like all human beings, like new toys, right? Like you say, woo-hoo-hoo, Deshaun Watson. Whoa, we gonna make this work. We gonna justify it. We gonna justify it. We gonna just be Air Coryell. Right? But you forget where your bread is buttered. Don't forget. Deshaun Watson will have a better season if the running game is still impactful. Because that's the way it works. When you look at all these quarterbacks, you can look at all these quarterbacks that threw for 4,000, 5,000 yards and look at all that. You can go to about 4 or 5 moments in their season where they had to run the ball to either end the game or win the game. And they had no running game and they lost. That's what's been plaguing Aaron Rodgers for all these years. And nobody wants to admit it. They want to say, oh, you know what? Aaron Rodgers, he folds up at the end of these games in championships and stuff like that. You know why? Because after that defense done played 57 or 58 minutes and realized they ain't got to worry about the run game, they coming after it. So
And
when he
Watson's
won the
never
Super
had a
Bowl-
running game. And Watson's never
When
had
he
a
won
running
the
game.
Super Bowl, he had a running game.
No, I'm saying
No,
in Houston he
Watson,
never
not Rodgers.
Oh yeah, I'm saying Watson's never had a good in Houston. He never. Who's
Nope.
his best
And
back?
guess what?
In nobody.
And guess what?
Duke Johnson.
Oh, hold on.
He threw for 5,000 yards, and they were 4-12.
Hold on, Leroy, because I gotta pause you on that.
Yeah.
When the Green Bay Packers lost in the playoffs 2 years ago, they lost because Aaron Rodgers decided not to scramble.
The last couple of
on
years,
third
they
down.
had better
No,
running.
he did. He did.
Aaron
Wait.
Jones is a good player.
Was I the only one that looked at the TV and saw the end zone and
It
saw
said
Aaron
run.
Rodgers running, and then he stopped and I'm
And
like,
through that, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And
that's
here's
on,
the
that's
worst
on
part
him.
about it. Here's the worst part about it. I love the way we pick and choose who gets the pass. Right? Because Aaron Rodgers had the end zone in front of him,
Facts.
and they said they didn't give him any help. That's why he can't win. I'm like, really? And if that was Baker Mayfield, because guess what? If I forget who it was, it Peoples Jones that stuck the ball out and hit the pylon?
No, that was Higgins.
Yeah, Higgins.
Yeah.
Higgins. If he scores there and you facing Chad Henne to finish that game, we have a whole different outlook on Baker Mayfield.
You aren't kidding.
Well, thank God that didn't happen.
Like, think about that. Here, I'll give you one more. I'll give you
we
one
just
more.
stuck with Baker.
Cause I love how people pick and choose, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But how great of a coach is Bill Parcells if Scott Norwood makes a kick?
Yeah, no, exactly.
He's Brian Billick. He's Brian Billick.
Yeah, well,
Wow.
I mean,
Or Mark
Oh,
Levy.
really? I'm just saying that's the reality of it, is that we pick and choose what those
Leroy,
moments mean.
to that point, the Browns last year finished 8-9. We're in the playoff chase until the very last game. They beat the Super Bowl champion representative from the AFC at their place, 41-14. The quarterback just broke that long playoff drought. Played all year injured, and I'm not using that as an excuse, but it's still a fact. You can't take that out of the equation, and we just ran him out of town.
Yep.
Because we're smart.
It's like,
We smart.
you know
That was
what?
the smartest thing the Browns
Perhaps
have.
because you're fickle.
No,
Perhaps because you're
not it.
fickle.
Listen, the only thing I had with Baker is that the game-winning drive thing. Anytime we had to have it, at
Never
the end of the
came
game,
through at a
he
big spot.
never-
Can't ignore that.
And that's the only problem.
Picks.
You're right.
Outside of that,
Batted
I have
balls.
no problem with him.
Yeah.
But here's
Come
the
on.
deal.
He had little man syndrome, let's be honest.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Would you feel different about Baker Mayfield if he didn't play last year? You'd be looking forward to Baker Mayfield the next year.
Yeah.
Sure you would.
I would.
Sure you would.
So,
'Cause he's coming off a
he
playoff
hurt
win.
himself.
It don't matter.
He hurt himself by playing football.
No
and it's
question.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, but-
Absolutely.
And I try to avoid that.
But Leroy, in the end, Deshaun Watson's a great player. Baker's an average player. So I don't care about it. You're right, but I don't care about it.
You know what?
Yeah.
I at no point in time have I said the
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns didn't upgrade
No, I know.
by getting Deshaun
I
Watson.
know.
The
And
question was, did they
anytime
need
you
to?
have a chance,
Of course they
anytime
needed
you
to.
have a chance to upgrade your team,
Yeah.
you do it.
That's right.
Now it's unfortunate, but guess what? Some kind of way, woe is me is getting $19 million.
Yeah, you're right.
So I'm gonna have a hard time feeling sorry, because I know when I was no longer playing and they didn't want me to play for them, they cut me. I got zero. So I'm gonna have a hard time feeling sorry for a guy, even though his situation is unfortunate, that we don't want you to play for us
Yeah.
anymore, but we still gonna give you $19 million.
Nobody's feeling sorry
Oh
for
my
Baker
God.
Mayfield. I mean, if they are,
What about Deshaun? Deshaun, we gonna pay you $20 million. Just don't show up.
That's true. Last year.
I had to limp and crawl into the facility
real life
just to
problems.
get my regular old everyday check.
Hey, Leroy, I wanted to point one thing out. The video that we rolled in over the last couple of minutes, that's fresh video from today. I want to, and by the way, I want to throw our Twitter handle out there. I want to do that more often. It's at ULT Cle Sports. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, send us messages, do it that way. But when you look at this fresh video we started the program today by talking about the new accuser. Now there's 23 women. And we talked about, does that change things for you? And we also played a little role play. If you're Deshaun Watson, you do what today? Because they have OTAs today. He'll have an opportunity to step in front of a camera if he wants to. What do you make of the 23rd accuser? Does it change anything for you? And what would you do if you're Deshaun Watson today, if anything?
If I'm Deshaun Watson, I don't say nothing.
Nothing.
Like it's the other lawyer's job and responsibility to all the other women to try to put Deshaun Watson in a position to settle. So he's gonna try to get as many women as possible, right?
Sure.
I don't know the guy, but here's what I do. As an adult, as a grown folk, right? I separate the art from the artist. Okay?
Right.
And we have a tendency not to do that. I can enjoy Deshaun Watson's work, but I don't know Deshaun Watson to be
Facts.
sitting here passing judgment on accusations. Okay? And as a black man, I'm going to just keep it real.
Keep it real.
As a black man, you always looking for the benefit of it's an accusation and not a charge. So I'm not going to be the guy to pass judgment on a situation that is not finished, that is not done with, and I don't know any of the parties involved, including Deshaun Watson. I know TV Deshaun Watson. I like me some TV Deshaun Watson. I don't know the Deshaun Watson hanging out in the club, or I don't know the Deshaun Watson going get something to eat. I don't know him. So I'm going to be a grown folk and say, I can enjoy Deshaun Watson, the football player, and if he's done something questionable, not like that portion of it. Because guess what? That's life. That's like, you think in all the years I played football, I didn't come across some unsavory characters? Goodness, what are we doing?
Every walk of life.
And Leroy, I'm glad you said that. I think everybody thinks that if you're an athlete, that you eat birthday cake with everybody. You're at everybody's houses, you buddy with people, you hang out, you know them. Like,
Raising their
I
kids.
don't know everybody on my
I
team.
don't
And guess
know
what?
them.
I'll tell you one even better. I've been in fist fights with guys on the team. And I say, dude, if I see you on the street, we don't know each other. But if he score a touchdown, I'm going to be the first one there.
Facts.
I say, don't get it twisted. I still don't like you, but you my teammate. That's called being a professional.
Right?
That's true.
Why can't we do that? We
Yeah.
all want a picture. Everybody look for an opportunity to stand on their soapbox. Oh, I'm so much better than this guy.
That's so
no, you're
true.
not. You just ain't been caught up in that situation. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whole
So,
lot of virtue
look,
signaling going on right now.
Hey, I'm a grown folk. I'm gonna do grown folk things. I'm as a black man, I understand, what an accusation is, but I don't have to like Deshaun Watson, the individual. But I need to love Deshaun Watson, the quarterback. When those two things start affecting one another, then we got a problem. So
Let me
if
ask
all
you-
the off-field stuff affecting how you play quarterback,
It's great.
now we need to have a conversation.
So, Leroy, let's take this to a broader question. Charles Barkley once famously said, I am not a role model. And I know you're saying separate the artist from the art. But you also have to remember there are a lot of 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old boys and girls that are watching the Cleveland Browns. And you know that there tends to be a lot of idolatry. They look at these people like they're more than just football players. Where did you fall on Charles Barkley's I am not a role model? Because I know a lot of athletes said whether you want to be or not, you are, so you better embrace it. And then a lot of other athletes said, I didn't ask to raise your kids. You be your kid's role model. I can be his football hero. You be his role model. Where are you on that?
I live my life. I try to be a good person. I try to be a stand-up guy, right? But I'm human. I'm going to have situations like everybody else. If anybody thinks that real life don't strike, just because you're a football player don't mean you don't fall into the statistics of life, okay? And so instead of going at the athlete, how about you talk to your kid and use it as a teacher moment?
Well
Right?
said.
Anytime my kids see something on TV, right, and they come ask me about it, I try to talk them through it, to explain to them what is good about that and what's bad about it. I'm not going to all of a sudden blame a situation I see on TV for the reason why my kid acting up. Right? That is your job. Now, if he should happen to look at an athlete and say, I want to be like that guy, right? Then the parent got to walk him through the things that you can, be like that guy, and the things that you need to stay away from. I don't understand. Look, if somebody looks at me and say, hey, I want to do it the way he did it, that's fine. But I'm not doing it because kids are watching. I'm doing it because that's who I am. And if it should inspire somebody to play the same way or work the same way, then that's good too.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's necessarily my responsibility to go out. Because look, we all come from different backgrounds, right? People have been through some stuff in their life. and they finally get to this point, I'm not going to then penalize them for not picking it up quick enough to be a professional. There were people that had patience with me. So I'm, going to look at a 22-year-old or 23-year-old and think that. Like, man, what were we doing? We were 22, 23 years old. Hell, when I was 22, 23, I ended up doing 3 days in jail for a speeding ticket.
I was going to ask you to
know
tell
why?
that story. Tell that. Leroy,
So-
tell the whole story because
right.
it's unbelievable.
How could you be responsible and an idiot at the same time by Leroy Hoard? Here we go.
No, guys, this is a great story.
My rookie year, I got a 300Z turbo, and the weather was about to change, so I knew I had to get my action in this nice little car soon before that snow hit. And them roads get all crazy. So I set my alarm for 1 a.m, just a regular night, and I took that 300Z on 71. And I was going, and I gunned it, and I was going. I was like, boy, this is great. Whee! I felt like I was in NASCAR or something, right? So I look in my rearview mirror, and I see some lights. I say, oh, snap, something must be going down. Let me pull over and let them pass.
No, you, bro.
You were going down.
They was coming after me. I didn't know. So they pulled around me. Like 4 or 5 cop cars pulled around me. Get out of the car. I'm like, uh-oh. I said, I could have just got off the highway and been done. But I stopped thinking I'm being responsible. So they pull over. One guy gets off. He said, do you know how fast you were going? I say, no, officer. I had both eyes on the road. Which a couple of the cops found funny, but he didn't. I got a ticket. I had to go to mayor's court. The mayor, it's a long line. It's weird how it works. Mayor's court, you just line up. They just shoot you through. So the guy before me, he had his 5th DUI. He go to jail for the weekend, county lockup for the weekend, didn't go to work. I'm like, oh, okay. So he done had his 3rd DUI. He just for a year, he got to go to jail on the weekend. I'm like, oh, I'm good. I go up there. He said, the mayor, I don't even remember who it was. I can give you 10 days. I'm like, 10 days? The dude just had his 17th DUI. He just go to Club Med for the weekend. He said, 3 days for being a smart ass. So after we played Cincinnati in a 3-13 season, when everybody wanted to get up out of there, I had to go prepare for lockup for 3 days.
Oh man!
And I stayed in the little county lockup for 3 days, and that was it. So when people ask me, "You ever been to jail?" I say, "Yeah, I did a stint."
How fast were you going?
They got papers up. And wait, here's the worst part.
Yeah.
There was 100 cameras outside the jail when I went in. And I'm like, for a speeding ticket? Get a life. And
You know how media works.
Wait, but how fast were you
right,
going?
they go,
Do you know?
You say, what are you doing? I say, I'm being 23. I'm sorry. I thought I was being responsible. I wasn't drunk. I haven't been drinking. I set the alarm for 1 a.m. Hopefully there was no traffic. I said, can I be any more responsible while doing something illegal?
I know. See, when he first told me, the first time he told me the story, he said that he set his alarm clock at 1 a.m. because he wanted to make sure that the highway was empty.
Right.
He didn't want to put himself at any more risk than he needed to, or any other drivers.
But how fast, Leroy? Did you ever know how fast you were going, or you really didn't know?
Go ahead. It was well over 100.
Yeah. Let's just say,
Yeah.
my last thought before I saw the little blue lights was, I might be able to get this to the red line.
Oh man.
It wasn't. Look, I'm not proud. Look, I'm not proud of that moment, but I was being 23.
I think you should be proud of that moment. That's cool that you almost hit the red line.
The red line.
I once did 100 in a radio station van 20 years ago. So that was during the day. That was much less responsible than you.
Did you get 3 days in jail?
No, I didn't. I didn't get busted.
The thing about it is, when you're an athlete, everybody feels they have to use you as an example,
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, but like, okay, eventually I'll grow up. Look, how old you are don't determine how grown you are.
Man, isn't that
I know
true?
a bunch of 50-year-old kids, but for some reason, when you play a sport, you all of a sudden supposed to be grown and responsible. Like, I don't know.
It's tough.
So,
It's tough. And you're given a lot of money and a lot of free time. And you're 23 years
Right.
old. What the hell do they think's going to happen?
By the way, guys, there's something egregious that was in that Deshaun Watson video of the action from today that none of you have brought up.
The hat.
He's got a pom-pom on his hat.
I know he does.
First of all,
I know.
What's with the pom-pom? Who wears
It's
pom-pom?
90 degrees out there, and
He's wearing a pom-pom hat.
wearing
He wore
a
that
winter
in the
hat.
first practice too, by the way.
All right,
What's
it's
with the
cool, but it
pom-pom
wasn't
on the hat?
90 for the
They
first
don't-
practice.
They don't get it.
Yeah,
They don't get
Explain
it.
it.
It's about fashion.
It's a young
It's a
thing.
young.
Hey.
It's
Y'all
First
should-
of all,
y'all are
hey.
aging yourselves.
I don't care about the hat. I'm talking about the pom-pom.
That's the
Yeah,
same thing.
that's exactly
Pom-pom
what
is cool?
Yeah, it's been like.
How do I not know this?
It's been for like the
You
past
notice
6 years.
it's two guys
now.
that have a full head of hair.
That's true.
Right.
Well, I don't know about a full head. I'm balding on
Hey,
top.
you
It's
know-
90 degrees. I'm not wearing that hat.
The young boys out there. That's that young.
You ain't young.
The young boys out there moving like that. I don't got a pom pom hat in here.
Pom-pom. I wore pom-pom hat when I was 8.
I got a pom Guardians hat. I wore it this winter.
Wear your pom-pom hat?
Yeah.
If that's what you want to call it. I call it a beanie.
Yeah.
Leroy, do guys from Michigan wear that kind of hat?
Yeah, and when it's cold.
Tom Brady
like-
wears one all the time.
I bet you he wouldn't try that down here.
Yeah, probably
We'd
not.
be
Not
pumping
Miami.
Them, we'd be pumping them full of Pedialyte and electrolytes.
Well, hey, listen, it's 90
It's hot
degrees
down here.
and humid today. It's hot.